Hey everyone, today we dive into a decision that has set the Republican Party ablaze with debate and speculation. Former President Donald Trump has just announced his running mate for the upcoming election, and trust me, this choice is nothing short of explosive. That's right, Trump has picked 39-year-old Senator J.D. Vance, one of the leading voices of national security doves within the GOP. This move is like throwing political kerosene on an already raging Republican fire over foreign policy. Vance, known for his isolationist stance, is set to challenge the hawkish GOP consensus that has been in place since the Reagan era. Should Trump win in November, non-interventionists will have one of their most articulate advocates right at Trump's side. This has left many of the interventionist old guard in the GOP horrified and alarmed. Imagine being at a party where everyone is smiling, but behind those smiles there's a storm of whispers and sighs of frustration. That's exactly what happened at the convention reception. Representative Ken Calvert, overseeing military spending, was overheard saying, "The Ukrainians better hurry up and win." Another influential Republican admitted, "I'm scared to death." These reactions underline the deep divide within the party, especially on the issue of aiding Ukraine. Senator Roger Wicker, the ranking Republican on the Armed Services Committee, wore his Ukrainian flag pin with a silent but powerful message about the gulf between his stance and Vance's on the war in Europe. This selection by Trump is a clear victory for his eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., who has been a vocal supporter of Vance. And speaking of victories, the allies of Trump Jr. were quick to gloat. Tommy Hicks, a close friend and former RNC co-chair, sent a rather blunt email to Karl Rove criticizing his praise for another potential running mate, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. The email bluntly stated, "Karl, you fucked up, we will remember." This dramatic choice by Trump could redefine the GOP's foreign policy stance, moving it further away from interventionism. But what does this mean for America's role on the global stage? Are we witnessing the rise of a more isolationist Republican Party? And how will this affect the ongoing conflict in Ukraine? Personally, I find this move both fascinating and concerning. On one hand, it represents a significant shift within the GOP, challenging long-held beliefs and potentially leading to a new era of foreign policy. On the other hand, it raises serious questions about America's commitment to its allies and the impact on global stability. Vance's critical stance on aiding Ukraine, in particular, could have far-reaching consequences. Impact on America's role globally. Firstly, America has long been seen as a global leader, a champion of democracy and a defender of international order. This leadership role often involved intervening in conflicts, supporting allies, and maintaining a strong military presence worldwide. If the GOP, under Trump's influence and Vance's advocacy, shifts towards a more isolationist stance, we could see a significant reduction in American intervention in global conflicts. Potential isolationism. Are we witnessing the rise of a more isolationist Republican Party? It certainly seems that way. Vance's selection signals a potential departure from the interventionist policies that have characterized the GOP for decades. This new direction could mean less military involvement overseas and a focus on domestic issues. While some might welcome this change as a way to avoid unnecessary wars and focus on America first, others fear it could lead to a power vacuum that adversaries like Russia and China could exploit. Consequences for the conflict in Ukraine. Now, let's talk about Ukraine. Vance has been one of the loudest critics of aiding Ukraine, and his influence could mean a drastic shift in US policy towards the conflict. This could have several far-reaching consequences. One, reduced support for Ukraine. The most immediate impact would be a reduction in military and financial support for Ukraine. This could weaken Ukraine's ability to defend itself against Russian aggression, potentially altering the balance of power in Eastern Europe. 2. Encouragement for Russia. A US retreat from supporting Ukraine could embolden Russia, encouraging more aggressive actions not only in Ukraine but potentially in other neighboring countries. This could destabilize the region and undermine global security. Strained relations with allies. America's NATO allies have been united in their support for Ukraine. A significant shift in US policy could strain these alliances, causing friction within NATO and potentially weakening the collective defence strategy that has been a cornerstone of transatlantic security. Balancing pros and cons. Personally, I find this move both fascinating and concerning. On one hand, it represents a significant shift within the GOP, challenging long-held beliefs and potentially leading to a new era of foreign policy. It could allow the US to focus more on domestic issues and avoid entanglements in costly foreign wars. However, on the other hand, it raises serious questions about America's commitment to its allies and the impact on global stability. The critical stance on aiding Ukraine in particular could have far-reaching consequences. It might not only alter the course of the conflict in Ukraine, but also reshape international relations and America's role in the world. The US has been a key player in supporting Ukraine's fight for sovereignty, and stepping back from this role could signal a shift in global power dynamics. So what do you all think? Is this a bold move towards a new direction or a dangerous gamble that could isolate the US on the world stage? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more updates and in-depth analysis.